How's it going, fellas? I actually have some sad news for you today. The lead developer of PokeRogue, Sam, has stepped down. Now, before you freak out and get worried, the game is still in development. But the lead developer has changed roles, and the person who originally created this project and spent over 9 months working on this game, stepping down. Now, his overall reasoning for leaving is the game has consumed his life because Sam is a family man and he has a job, which I cannot believe. How does he have the time to not only work, have a family, but also work on this project? That's insane. How do you have the time? Things have got to a boiling point where it's too much because Sam's been struggling to balance out this hobby of his, working at PokeRogue, with the rest of his life. Which I understand because the game is very demanding with all these server issues and even people losing their accounts on top of constant developments and making decisions. It's a lot, and people, need you. And when the game gets down, people want the game to be fixed immediately, and it puts a lot of pressure on Sam and the rest of the team. And Sam also does mention religion, right? He mentions some form of Christianity, he doesn't say which. But the reason why this is relevant is because, really, it comes across as Sam does feel a bit selfish on working on this game because it is taking time away from his work and his family, which does matter to him. And he wants to put the things that matter to him back in focus. And one of those things, right, is God, but also his family and his work. Now, there actually is a bit more to this that isn't in the actual post of reasoning, but it is on his Twitter because Sam actually did put how he feels guilty about leaving, right? He put in a thread, "It weighs more and more on me how I created something that encourages addictive behavior. I thought I was just implementing mechanics I've enjoyed in other games without the predatory money factor, but it still feels wrong. Time is our most valuable resource. You can get money back, but you can never get time back. I'm starting to think this project was a mistake. I can't really put it in the cat back in the bag now though, so I'm not really sure where to go from here." And this was May 1st, so I think this is where he first considered quitting the game, but he could have thought about this even sooner, maybe in the back of his head, because he did write on May 13th that, a little while after, that this game is supposed to be done in 3 to 4 months, and now it's been for over 14 months, he put here, but, it requires constant development that it's tough for him to keep up. Because the scope of the game keeps expanding, and while that's good for the players, that's not really good for his overall life. And a little earlier, April 24th, he hates how a lot of his time is spent towards helping people recover data and forgotten passwords. So it really seems like the development was stressing Sam out a lot. And now, personally, when it comes to the gacha mechanics in the game, I don't actually think it's bad because Pokemon inherently is about luck. The moves have luck to them. The opponents you fight have luck. The types of Pokemon you have luck. Even the items you get have luck. So the gacha mechanic makes sense. And to be honest, I don't think the game is that addicting to the point where it's predatory because nothing in the game is actually time-based. Now, they did have an event where shiny rates were higher, where I'm sure maybe you can make an argument that's a bit predatory. But for the rest of the game, if you take a break for a month and come back, assuming that the game is still up and running, nothing will change because everything's independent. Now, the daily runs you need to do every day, but that really limits you from playing the game more, not less. Now, could it incentivize people to play every day? It can. But if they miss a day, they don't really miss out on anything because they could just play the next day. It's not a big deal. But I understand why he feels that way because there are people who are saying how much they love the game and they can't stop. And and he did say he does have some Christian values and it is weighing on him. And this actually reminds me of the developer of Flappy Bird who took down his game for a similar reason. And I'm actually happy that Sam didn't take such drastic measures to take down the game. But the developer of Flappy Bird did because people were also addicted to that game. And this was when games were new. We didn't really see anything like it before. And this game was so addicting that people were spending so much time on it that the developer got so much attention that he didn't really know what to do. And I think that's the other part of it too, right? Sam has gotten so much attention from this game. I believe it's reached over 1 million users now, that I don't think Sam was ready to deal with all this attention he was getting. Now, what's really interesting is Sam actually leaves off what he wrote with 3 Bible verses. And they're not actually about like teaching the Bible, but I actually want to share them because I think it reflects Sam's mental state. So what are they? All right, I looked them up, and here's the first one. Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and the anxieties of life, and that day will close on you suddenly like a trap. And when I read this, I can't help but think that especially after the way things have been playing out, what he said on Twitter, that Sam is feeling really anxiety from this project, and the project is such a part of his life that he's worried that it's going to consume him to the point where he pushes everything else in his life that matters away. Now, the second Bible verse that he puts is this: do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. Now, if we look at this with more of a wider lens, really what this verse is about is not being too attached to something to the point where it consumes you, which again is a bit similar to the first Bible verse. And especially how he talks about this game, right? He even says that believing this will leave a big hole in his heart. And I think really Sam feels guilty of how much this game is consuming his life, where again, he feels selfish about this. And the last verse he put, when I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of children behind me. And some context here, the Bible actually does talk about certain elements of being a kid as good, right? There are certain, now it's not, the Bible doesn't say be a kid, but it says be like a child. And really what it seems like to me when I read this is Sam really just wants to take a break, because this has been consuming his life so much that he really just wants to take a break, spend time with his family. Now, since Sam did say that it does pain him to leave, but he's doing it because he believes it's what's best for both the game and his life, I do hope that after a few months pass, or maybe even a year, as the game keeps progressing, I do hope he has a healthier outlook on the game. Hopefully he does reflect on how the game he made isn't as predatory as he thinks, and I do hope that he could have a more of a casual approach to the development of the game, where instead of constantly developing, maybe he's maybe helping with the ideas a bit, or maybe he's developing stuff here and there, maybe on weekends. And I really do hope that he does have a healthier balance with the game in the future, for Sam's sake, because it really does seem like that's what he wants, but he's worried that if he does it again, it's going to consume his life. So I do hope he does find a healthy balance with the game, and if he doesn't, I hope whatever Sam does in his life in the future, he's happy, because I really do appreciate all the work he's put in this game for free. And that's really what I love about these community projects, is because it's open source, anyone can work on the game. That as long as the game is popularity, the game will still have a life of its own and still grow, because the community can make feedback. There are still developers that give their time away for free, which I still can't believe. And so the game will still be in development. The people will still be contributing ideas. They'll still be implementing things. Stuff will still get worked on. It's just that Sam, the lead developer, the creator, stepping down. And this actually reminds me, again, the guilt that he was feeling reminds me of guilt that other creators feel when they create something that causes some sort of harm. The most famous example is Oppenheimer. When he made the bomb, he immediately felt guilty for after the bombs went off in Japan. Another great example is the creator of the AK-47. When he made that weapon, he originally thought that, it would actually prevent wars because the gun would be so good. Same with the machine gun. But it actually had the opposite effect, and those people also felt guilty as well. And it seems that Sam is feeling that guilt too for the harm that his game is causing. And I really do hope that he does reflect on the game, realize that it isn't as bad as he thinks. Now, I thought I was going to end the video here, but there actually turns out to be an update. So a little while after Sam left, there was a lot of drama in Discord where apparently a bunch of people were debating about trans rights. Now, I don't really know why this was happening on PokeRogue to begin with. And also, I'm trying to find out, because apparently people are saying Sam's transphobic, and I'm trying to find evidence of that being true. And apparently, he was talking to him privately, and something he said was extrapolated to be against trans people. And I still can't find any evidence of this. But it really seems that what he said was trying to be taken in bad faith, and apparently the person who's trying to spread this is racist. Now, I don't really know what's going on, but you guys should know that there's been this drama about, oh, this guy, the lead developer's trans, oh my god, people debating on it. But the truth is, right, no one had any idea what Sam's beliefs were while he was on a developer on the team. He only brought them up while he was leaving because it was relevant. And, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't care what he believes because it doesn't matter. Why does it matter what he believes? He could believe in the spaghetti monster for all I care. Why does it matter? He's just a guy that made a game I like. And I'm grateful for that. Anything else he does, it doesn't really matter to me. But, like, yeah, it's cool. I like what he did. I hope he does well and all that. But, you know, I don't care what he's doing. And hopefully, you know, just so you guys know, that's what's been happening. But anyway, that's really what happened. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. And thank you for your time.